So let's remember, on Monday, we discovered a bit about coding smart contracts, and better than that, we discovered what are a smart contract. How we discovered? We just read a lot of things. No, we experimented and we saw what smart contract can do, what are those transactions, what they do inside the bytecode, and what are those state changes, right? Do you remember, for example, about Bitcoin? Bitcoin original design, it had smart contracts.
No.
What kind of data Bitcoin network can process? Balance of tokens, Bitcoin tokens, right? Satoshi, actually. So smart contracts allow us to process all the kind of data. We learned that on Monday and a bit of that on Tuesday, right? Then we started using some dev tooling. We moved from Remix to hardhat, so we could learn how to run some things. Do you remember what kind of things? Tests, and it starts with S. Scripts, yes. That are ways for us, instead of going for a blockchain to run the thing inside a public blockchain, we can internally in our own computer, in our own device, we can start writing TypeScript code that executes some things. That execute a script, a deployment, a minting of a token, a transfer, setting a text, or setting a number on the something, remember? And we learn how to run that with hardhat and without hardhat. And then we went a little step further to understand about tests that are like scripts, but we can hover the mouse, we can click on things, we can change the value that is happening. So it's super good for learning, for quality assurance and all of that, remember? And yesterday what we saw? Scaffolding, yeah, and a bit about the graph. Kevin Jones demonstrated how to use scaffolding to communicate and run commands in a front end connected to a smart contract. And what was the language, programming language used? TypeScript as well. So everything you did in the scripts and tests, you know that it's working. Now you can do inside your front end as well. You do a script, deploy and then send a number. That is working. You know that it's working. Then you can do inside the front end as well. Okay? A lot of people when building start the opposite journey that we did. Pick scaffolding, pick a front end with or without scaffolding, and try to do everything at once. So you have to understand the things from Monday, the things from Tuesday, the things from Wednesday, and the things from yesterday all together. And then it's too much to understand at once. This is very common to happen in hackathons. You figure your features first, and then you see what are the smart contracts and all, and it is overwhelming. Okay, so this is the same journey that I would recommend you. We are speaking about project building guidelines to follow when you are building blockchain projects, Web3 projects. We're going to do that today as well. Another iteration of what we did this week, but for exercising your hackathon project. Okay? Got the idea? So before we begin, we have some links back there, up there, and we have this speedrun Ethereum here. Who entered this or who tried it? Do you have questions or struggle any problems?
I just entered. I didn't do it.
Didn't try. Okay. Oh, and sign out. What? See, you broke the computer's heart. Let me solve this. Okay. So these people, this homework, this little homework here, and this exercise to speed run Ethereum, it is a great replica. It's a great expansion of what we saw this week, okay? You are going to be guided until understanding NFTs, understanding tokens, understanding smart contract designs like state machines, like games, like randomness. And also it uses scaffold ETH for building those. So it's a great exercise for expansion, okay? So you can use this pattern, this structure that we saw this week to understand more and more things, okay? So there is a short introduction from Austin Griffith here, almost everything that we saw yesterday as well, and then you can try out those challenges here. This can give you ideas of what to build in a hackathon project as well, because they are good patterns, they are good structure, they have good storytelling, okay? And what I want to prepare you for your project building guidelines, for your hackathon, or even if you want to actually build something. Build for your portfolio, personal portfolio as a developer, to get hired, or even, don't know, to be an entrepreneur, to start a new company, become a billionaire, okay? Perhaps do some cool parties or trips later in the future. Do invite me. Buy some Lambos. So you probably have some goals here that you want to build a project. And let's follow the same path that we did this week. You can only ideate of a good thing for Web3 if you understand what Web3 is for. And this is what I took the care of showing you clearly, or attempted to, on Monday's lesson. What Web3 is for. So for example, if you trust all the parties in a system, Web3 is good for that ecosystem. I'm going to develop an application for people that trust each other. What do you think?
I really understand. I didn't trust nobody, but I can trust the contract.
Okay, but let's say you are doing an application inside a company where everyone already trusts each other. Like you trust that your company is going to pay you at the end of the month, and you also the company trusts that you are working for it. You see those trust relations that we have every day. Blockchain solves something on the root of that situation. What do you think? Why not?
Sorry,
So let's do some steps back. First of all, what blockchains are for? What smart contracts solve? Okay, so when we build a project, we want to build a project to solve something. This is the idea of engineering. So what are blockchains good for? Smart contracts are good for what? I'm thinking in an environment where the parties trust each other, blockchain is useful. Let's spend a minute or two here instead of rushing to conclusions.
I'd say that being the fact that there is already trust established probably is not, let's say, the killer feature. But in an environment like that, for example, you could get rid of the trust that you need to have for them to pay your colleagues or colleagues.
Yeah.
And then the protocol is the same token of something.
For example, payments. Let's imagine, did you pay something today? Like, did you buy breakfast or did you buy transport? What was the payment medium? Medium. What did you use to pay? Cash, like a piece of paper. And the person that accepted that piece of paper questioned the paper, like tried to see if it was false. Maybe. But even if they tried, if it's not false, but they accepted it, would you accept paper as a payment? It's normal, right?
Everybody agrees that paper has value.
Everybody agrees that paper have value. You see? They trust that paper has value.
Because it has consensus.
Social consensus, you see? Is this clear for everyone, this line of thought? Am I imposing that on you, or this is what we are observing of the reality? Everybody trusts that piece of paper. Who emits that piece of paper? The government. The government enforces. the banks are the first receivers of government debt, and this is all of this financial structure, right? Do you trust that structure?
No.
Is that structure fair?
Yeah, a little bit.
I'm not answering. This question I'm not going to answer. I'm just going to collect your opinions.
You have to, necessarily.
You mean that there is no alternative? You have to trust. More opinions? You? Opinion? You're following the idea here? You there? Opinions?
I was trying to understand what you say.
Like what is the ingredient of trust when you give a piece of paper for someone? You see? It means that if you receive that paper, you are very certain that you can later on use that same paper to buy other things. Okay? Yeah, you have value, you have sense of value. People perceive value on that. Okay? It's different if I try to pay something with like a piece of art. For you could be value more, for you could be value less, right? You don't have that sense of value. Okay? Did I lose someone?
That's not money exchange. That's a good exchange.
A value exchange. Yeah.
But there are pieces of art that have the kind of the consensus on the
Subjective value, yeah.
price, no? I mean,
Like a market price.
the market price is something.
Yeah.
You know, Michelangelo can have more.
Yeah. The thing is, some people back in 2000s, even before 2008, they were questioning their trust into fiat currency. They were questioning the printing of money, the government debt, and even before 2008, there were like attempts to create alternatives, because nowadays you don't have alternatives, right? So like DigiGold, DigiCash, Hashcash, a lot of other attempts were made, but they weren't successful. Until Bitcoin. It could solve that system. It could create a mathematical system that you can pay someone with Bitcoin, that person can accept the Bitcoin because the person believes that later on it can use that as a medium of payment later.
But I don't understand that in the old Bitcoin structure. What exactly is Bitcoin? Is that it's a binary, asset, who creates Bitcoin?
Okay.
Who inject it in the market?
As a user's as the user's point of view, it is a medium of payment, for example, or a store of value. Okay, you can send that for someone in exchange for goods or services. Okay?
Yeah, how many Bitcoins are created? How they can be created? Because if
You want to open the box?
Money,
I'm-
prints money.
Yeah, I'm closing the box at the moment, but later on we can open. As a user standpoint, it is able to be used as a payment medium. Okay, if you open the box, you're going to see that there is mining. That you need to exchange electrical power to get that single currency because you are providing services for the network at all. You see, there is mechanics on that. But if you close the box and you look for overview, Bitcoin is a way of payment that you don't need to trust the parties. You don't need to trust the government. You don't need to trust the other part. You don't need to trust a bank. You don't need to trust a company. Okay? But there is a big but here, in my opinion, and a lot of regulators and central parties for what Bitcoin is doing. People trust each other. In a society, in a structure, nowadays, you just said that you pay people with paper money. People trust each other. Okay? So that is an ill effect when you learn blockchain, that you try to apply it to everything. But a lot of things people trust each other for social media, Who here has ever got a social media account deleted? I did never either. I know that depending on what I post or what I say, I might get my account deleted. But for me, it's good. I trust those companies. I do have profiles in those companies, and it's okay. I trust them. So one of the killer features of Web3, according to some people, I do believe that as well. Web3 is socials. You can have social networks inside Web3 that no one can go there and delete your account. But that's not a killer feature for a lot of people. Okay? Not saying that we should not have. I'm very bullish for it, but in the overall, people trust each other. People trust Meta. People trust X. People trust Apple. People trust Microsoft. People trust the government. Okay? So when you are going to build a project for Web3, try to find these kind of situations that people do not trust themselves or cannot trust themselves for some reasons, that now you have a set of tools, now you have smart contracts that regardless of the other person being honest or even faulty, like the other person can be even honest, but let's say the person died or the person is sick or the person traveled and is unreachable, even though the smart contract can keep operational. Okay. Question?
Yes. No, question, because many people thought that blockchain is more secure than the state and so on. But in this latest time, there was a decrease of let's say cryptocurrency. So how we can explain this? Because everybody thought that the comparison that blockchain is better than the state, is more fair, but however they follow the market share. So the question is, maybe it's very similar at the end or not?
The blockchain is more resilient. See? Because in blockchain, for example, in the 2008 crisis, or even last year, in the blockchain, the rules are there. Everyone can see before engaging. I don't know about Italy. Did Italy bail out any banks last year? Like the United States used the paid taxpayers' money to recover banks from...
Not last year, but it happened.
Yeah, it happened. Yeah. Did you vote for that? Did you vote for that? Did you agree?
Not explicitly.
Did you agree of using your money to pay for the debts of rich people?
Actually, sometimes yes.
Do you agree?
Sometimes yes.
Depends on the case. I mean, if the bank goes down, it can be worse than paying this money.
Okay.
So it depends.
It was good.
It can be acceptable.
But did you agree? Did you, for example, I'm going to paint your computer blue. Can be good, you can like it. But did you agree? I did without your consent.
The fact is that the democracy allows some people to take those decisions without asking us again.
Yeah, they are entitled with this. For example, you all entitled me with the power of painting your computers, so I can go there and paint your computers without your approval. Or pink, or purple, or green. Okay, so in this technology, blockchain, the rules are there. When you enter, they are explicit. In governments, in democracies, in other arrangements, in corporations, people may come up with ideas before were there that you did not agree with. Okay? So this is the same thing for like money. When you acquire some money through services, if the government starts printing more and more and more and more and more and more of that money, you are going to have less market share. You're going to have inflation that you were not aware when you acquired that money, you see?
So in the blockchain we can predict inflation.
You can predict everything. There is one mechanism called Coinbase, and this is what you are asking about Bitcoin. When you produce a block and you get a reward, this money is printed into the blockchain. A new supply is printed. And the supply mechanics are coded into the blockchain. If you try to print more money than you are allowed, the protocol is going to block that. Hey, your block is faulty. It's incompatible. This transaction is not accepted by the protocol. Okay, so the rules are there. This doesn't mean that it's more secure in what terms. There are hacks, there are market manipulations, there are pumps and dumps, there are scams, there are Ponzi's, there are many bad things, sometimes more than in traditional finance. Yes, it is true. But in the technology level, not in the application level, it is more secure, it is more resilient, actually. You see? It makes more sense now?
Yeah.
It's not a pro and con. It's like, if you trust the government, you can use fiat money. If you don't trust, you can, instead of trust, you can verify a code. Okay? Verify, don't trust. That's the idea of blockchain. Okay? So when we are building a Web3 project, this should be your highest, most evident, your most dominant guideline, actually. Solving trust issues, giving resilience, censorship resistance, sometimes. It's not that you are going to do something bad or illegal. Okay? Censorship resistance it means that no one can go and shut you down. It can be even a competitor. If you create a smart contract, no one can like DDoS you. Like, who doesn't know what is DDoS? Raise your hand.
That request is to assign to broker.
DDoS, like a distributed denial of service. A lot of people trying to bring your service down. So, for example, smart contracts are immune against that. That is censorship resistance, okay? So, whenever we're thinking Web3, if you want to do something meaningful, impactful in Web3, think on those features, on those premises, okay? Good? Questions so far? A lot of philosophy here, a lot of thinking. Okay? And also, please, don't take my word for everything. Check those facts, do your own research, see. I want to spark that in you. Don't blindly trust what you see or what you hear or what you read. Do your research, try and compile it to see if it makes sense, okay, in the reality. Another very important project building guideline for this weekend, okay? Raise your hand if that's your first hackathon. Raise your hand if it is your first hackathon. Go, most of you. Okay, good. So, if you are building a project, for it to be like, for receiving funding or for getting clients in the future, you want to build a deck for it, right? For example, what are the advantages, key features, and all, so it can be something that grows and scales. But very important, I was chatting with some people last days. For this hackathon, you need to say like this: my pitch deck am I. You are investing in yourself. You are learning. The idea is not the focus here for building a project. After you invested enough in yourself, this can... What's happening here? After you invest in yourself and you have a good amount of assets, knowledge assets, then you can build a pitch deck for your idea and start investing more time in that. But at this moment, I'm more interested, and you should be more interested in yourself than the idea itself. The idea is just going to be part of your journey this weekend, okay? So it doesn't need to be the most brilliant idea, the most complex product that solves the most killer problem, that solves the cure for cancer. Can be a simple game. Cookie clicker. Can be a good game for this hackathon project. A simple voting. Let's vote on the best gelato flavor. Deploy that in a smart contract. You all stake money. At the end, you are going to pool the money together and buy gelato for everyone that voted. Okay? And if you voted for strawberry and chocolate won, you're going to get chocolate, okay? Because yay, democracy. These kind of projects are good not because they're going to be killer ideas. They are good because they are going to invest in you for you to learn this weekend, okay? So don't stress out in making a brilliant idea this weekend. Do invest in learning, understanding everything you are doing, okay? You are going to have a lot of hours to invest in yourself this week. If it is your second, third, fourth, 10th hackathon, then you can start paying a little more attention for ideas itself, okay? Who wants to be an entrepreneur in Web3 or in tech in general? You want to build a company? Who wants to become a founder of a company instead of working for someone? Like half of you? Oh my God, good entrepreneurship spirit. So, if you try and invest in an idea now, focus on the idea, you are going to have a clear path, you're going to have a goal. But also, if you choose more the idea than investing in yourself, let's say you're going to outsource the development at the moment. You're going to pay out of your pocket for the development. At this moment, you could even reach that idea. But after you invest more and more and more yourself, you could see another idea or another path that is 10x or 100x more valuable than the idea that you have in the beginning. Okay? Of course, it's not feasible to keep investing yourself for decades. At some point, you need to pursue something. But my suggestion for you at this point is invest in yourself. Because if investors are going to invest in your company, they are first going to invest in the team, in the founders. The idea can change. What makes the investment good is the capabilities of the people there. Okay? The same applies, of course, if you're looking for a job. If you don't want to open a new company, you are actually looking to get hired in 1 year, 2 years, 6 months, 3 months, 3 days, then it's a great time to start investing in a personal portfolio as well. With toy projects, they don't need to have users, but they need to demonstrate your capabilities, okay? What the kind of stack you can do, that you know how to do tests, that you know to use React, that you know how to use Solidity program smart contracts, okay? TypeScript to run scripts. Good? So this all falls in that first bullet. The project building guidelines. What kind of project you are building and how to build that in this weekend. Okay? Questions? Did I speak too much? Boring you? Okay. And for building a project, first thing that you're going to need is people. At least one person. Less than that, we don't have AGIs yet. When we won't need people for things anymore, but so far we can only do things with people. So, team formation. This is the first part. The Urbe team suggested teams of 3 people, 4 maximum. Okay? So what you should look for this? First of all, people that have similar values than you. They want to learn this weekend. Okay? So if you go for all the hackathons, you're going to find people that don't care about learning, they just are competing for the prizes. Okay? Don't know if that's the scenario for this weekend. Competing is good, let's not take that out of the equation, but they feel like professionally competing for bounties to pay for your bills. So 3 or 4 professional bounty hunters could be a good team together. Okay? Why that? Because I see a lot of feedbacks in previous events of people like, hey, I was mistreated, or people were yelling at me because my code was not working. People were stressed out because I couldn't do this. And this is not healthy. Okay? This is not. This is kind of toxic for who is learning. Okay? This can get you on the nerves of experimenting together. So try to pick, first of all, people with the same values, that they have a shared purpose this weekend. Okay? Don't worry, you're going to win prizes. But learning should be your focus. Try to find people that are like-minded on that. Okay? Another thing, diversity, a lot of different point of views. If you are an introspect, challenge yourself of pairing up with an extrovert. People that talks a lot. If you talk a lot, try to pair up with someone that is shy. It's going to be interesting. If you are very intuitive, you see things where they are not, try to pair up with someone that is more judging about things, that they like to see facts, to question your assumptions. If two of those same people pair up together, they're both in the cloud and nothing's going to be built, or they're both in the ground, that nothing creative is going to happen. Okay? The more diversity, the better. And every good team has a glue, a person or something that is going to act, attracting everyone together. The middle part, the pivot, that is going to hold all of the team together. It's not going to be the person that codes the most. It's not going to be the person that ships the most. It's not going to be probably the most brilliant biscuit of the package, but it's super essential for all of the pieces to fit in. Okay? This would be the killer team. If you have those extremes and you have that glue between yourself, that things that keep you together, then you are good to go. You're good to go for this hackathon, or you're good to go for building anything that you want in this life. Can you think on those people in this room already? Do you know enough each other to know your personalities? Or we are going to try and do a team formation here as well. This is about the people as they are. And people as they know. It's much easier to go after knowledge than it is to change your behavior, your characteristics. But it's also good to pair up skills. Front-end, being able to code the HTML, CSS part, make it look beautiful. Back-end, be able to code the smart contracts, databases, the APIs. Design, it's always good to be able to present your project with a good looking, with good UI, good logos and images and all of that. And good planning. Someone that can lay out the tasks, that can follow up, that can do good communication, good explanation about the project, that can describe features, that can document things. Okay. This would be the perfect team ideation. If you have half of that, if you have 60% of that, that's good. Okay, that's your perfect team is here. And you are in the middle, good. Try not to be in the bottom. Like 3 people that are the same skills, 3 front-end people, all introverts. It's going to be a fun weekend. You're going to play a lot of Counter-Strike, I know, but don't know if it's going to be a good project at the end. Okay? This is about team formation. Now you have a team, now you inside of yourself have a good idea of your project guidelines, now you have a team. Now you need to come up together with an idea that you all would stand behind. Sometimes people do this before that. I have an idea first, and then I try to find people that like my idea, okay? That could work. That could work. Statistically, you could eventually pick a bad team. A team without a good composition between people, okay? Because you are carrying by ideas. You're not carrying by characteristics of the persons, okay? Or you can be lucky and pick the perfect team, okay? If you have a good team and you spread out the ideas and trying to find the middle grounds in the ideas, it is easier. Because it's much easier to come up with ideas than it is to come up with people, right? You might eventually give up on an idea that you love. I love that idea to do a decentralized cookie factory. But now I have to make this other idea that I'm not so in love with. But for a hackathon project, it could work. For a company, it could work, okay? I'm not saying that it's wrong to pick an idea first. If you are really in love for an idea that can make you work more, that can make you more engaged, can make people more engaged, but you also have the risk of having a bad team, or a team that's not optimal, okay? Either one you do, ideate first, so pick a team first, don't skip the other. Try to compose the team properly, okay? Doing those three, you're good to go. You could start hacking already. I have a suggestion on how to organize your workflow, okay? This is my suggestion, but organizing your workflow, every organization is organization. If you do another kind of organization, it is good, okay? You should sort things, you should put things in order, you should make it clean, you should maintain that process, and everything should have a purpose. That is what putting in order makes it meaning. For example, is this in order?
No, depends.
Well, first of all, does it have a purpose here? No, it should be taken away. Cleaning. Okay? Or are they clean? Almost, but not so much of a purpose here. But let's say they have a purpose. Now let's put them in order. Okay? Here they are aligned. This is good for your project, but also it is funny. If you do that, don't become compulsive, of course. But if you do that with the objects around you, try to organize them, clean. Do I need that? No, I don't need, so I'm going to store that away. Eventually this get embedded in your head. And you try to do that naturally. So how do I suggest that you organize your workflow? Have a short project description, okay? Ability of summarizing, it doesn't come easy. I don't have that ability. You see how much I speak? I could deliver the same content with 1/3 of the things that I'm saying. The more we try, the more intelligent we are, the better we can keep it short, okay? But if you can describe your projects in like 300 characters, like a Twitter post, that is great. Okay? Everything that requires more than 300 characters, perhaps you're explaining some of the features, perhaps you're explaining some of the constraints. If you keep the description short, 300 characters, it is a better representation, overall representation of what you want to do, okay? It is better to keep it short because depending on the amount of details that you put here, you already compromise yourself. I'm going to make ice cream factories for immigrants. I want to make all immigrants to receive an ice cream when they come to Rome for some reason. So you now have a constraint. You need to target immigrants where you could actually target don't know, for child or for elderly. Ice cream factory for elderly. So those constraints could change after you have this idea. So keep it short, less is better, okay? Need to be enough to make your project unique. It can be like, I'm going to do something. I'm going to do a D app. No, everyone's going to do a D app, you see. It needs to be something that makes you unique, that sets you aside from other people. But stop there, don't go further, okay? Is it too boring? Or like, okay, try to exercise, think on some ideas and follow this work. You should pick key objectives, at least 2 or 3. If you have just one, it's probably going to be a broad objective that eventually is unreachable. 2, 3, 4, 5, not too many actually, but some objectives that are feasible. I want to have a front end, a UI. I want to have a UI that people would fill in the form so I can know if the person is eligible or not for my product, whatever. I pick up some feasible objectives so that you can track them later on into the next steps. Did they reach the first one, the second one? Let's pivot. Because if you put these objectives inside your project description, these you can change. The key objectives is good to change. The project description is worse When you change your whole project, you need to convince people again, you need to do research again and all of that. When you change objectives, it's just a change of paths. I want to reach there, no, I want to reach here. And then you can have an overview of features. And even better, since it's a short hackathon project, give priorities on them. I want users to be able to do that. I want users to do this. How many users? I'm developing an Urbe app. So I have the driver user and I have the consumer user. The driver user can receive requests for trips, can manage profile. The customer, they can request for drivers to pick them up. They can customize their profile. They can customize payment options. Okay? So those would be features for each kind of users. Sometimes you just have one kind of users. I'm going to have a tokenized ice cream factory. So one user, ice cream consumers. Okay? What features you want to make? Change shipping address, pick my favorite flavors, vote for new flavors, these kind of features. If you prioritize them, you can group features that make sense together. Buying ice cream does not work if I don't have payment methods, so I group them together. They all have high priority. Next feature is voting for new flavors. Voting for new flavors works without the other two, so I give it medium priority. Okay? So you can start creating boundaries for your project. This is the step where you can make your project more lean. You can make your project have a progression. Have you ever seen that picture of building a car? But instead of building a car, you can build first a bicycle, then a motorcycle, then a car. Like, raise your hand. Have you seen that picture? Did you never? Like, instead of building a car piece by piece, first you build the wheels and the base. It is usable? No.
Maybe not.
Yeah, it doesn't have an engine, doesn't have a transmission or a direction. So you build this all up. Is it usable? No, you don't have the benches. Now you build the benches. Now you do the chassis and all. Now you have a car. It took 3 months. In the meantime, I don't have users. I don't have users. Or I could, first week, I build a skate. It is usable? Yes, people can go from A to B with a skate. It's cold, it is slow, I need to walk, but I can. Then I build a bicycle in 1 week. And then I build a motorcycle in 2 months. The car would be ready already, okay? But I'm iterating. Now, in more 3 months, I build my car. The users are happy, gradually happier down the road. So you have a continual improvement line instead of 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, and then you have a value, you see? This is the place where you divide your project like this. Instead of shipping a monolith in 2 days, you can ship a small product in 5 hours or 6 hours, and then enhance it in a more 4 hours. And then you enhance it again and again and again, until you have your whole goal for this project. Okay? What is happening here, people? Let me try to make sense of this. Okay? It is clear that that method, let me see if I find this picture here. There is a type there. Okay, this is the picture. Okay, everything is better with the picture. So, Okay, now you see it, right? If you build your project like this, what's going to happen? First feature, the user can't use it yet. Second feature, the user can't use it yet. Third version, the user can't use it yet. Okay, now the user can use it. What's the problem with that approach? Let's say you run out of time here. You're going to have a bad presentation. Probably you're not going to earn a prize, or probably you're not going to make it to this hackathon, you see? What if you pick this approach? You ship a very bad product at the beginning. Okay. It's not going to be making everyone happy, you're not going to become a billionaire, but you have something. If you happen to eat too much on Saturday and you can't be there on Sunday, you still can deliver that. Okay? And then you do something else, something better. You can even gather feedback here. Hey, what are the users thinking? Do they want a car, or what actually they want a boat, or they want a plane? So you can pivot. Okay? In this methodology, you have a lean path of building. When to do that? Before you start coding. When you are listing your features, so you can plan your releases. You can plan how your project is going to be on day 1, on starting of day 2, at the end of day 2. Okay? Make sense? How we are going to do that? You are going to write all the major tasks that are obvious at the beginning. Okay? Do not spend hours or even half an hour trying to come up with future tasks. Pick the ones that are obvious. The ones that are obvious are the ones that you have a biggest sense of importance. For example, it's obviously you might want to sketch the UI. You can pick a pen and paper. It's going to be that screen and whatever, or you can use Draw.io or Figma or any other similar for that. It's obvious that we need to set up a repository. It's obvious that we're going to need to install dependencies, initialize the project, create the first page. Not always you're going to do all of those, okay, depending on your project. But then you can line those at paper. And then every time you complete, check. Or you use Post-its, scrap. Or you use like Trello, whatever, to track on these. So you can have that continuous progress over things, okay? And even better, you can assign those tasks for everyone. Hey, you do the UI while I'm going to do this, and then you can parallel. Not like a complete waterfall, but you can at least keep everyone working. Someone is going to go out for lunch, and then you plan that this person is not available for 3 or 4 hours, and then you pass those tasks for another person. Okay, that is good as well when building a hackathon project. It's good for your day-to-day coding as well. And then you can plan those short deliveries for each few hours, depending on those tasks. This could be a delivery. 2 hours delivery. It's good. You ship. I'm going to say about version control in a while. You ship, this is something. At least you're not going to present nothing. At least this is your skate, for example. Okay? Questions here? Andrea. Where is Andrea? You need some help? No problem. Just don't do it again, okay? No, just kidding. You can do this 2 or 3 times more. Okay, questions are good. Can you see that working out? Or are you going to just ignore all of that and go horse? And there is this go horse programming. Have you ever heard about this? So the alternative to all of that I'm speaking is the extreme go horse. Okay? Okay? So, if you think, it's not go horse. Okay? In go horse, you just do the first thing that comes to your mind. Okay? There is no second option. Just the first one is the faster. Okay? There are 3 ways of solving a problem. the right way, the wrong way, and the go horse. Okay, that is exactly like the wrong way, but it's faster. Okay, it is the faster of any development methods that you know. Okay. Yeah, and you never stop doing go horse. Okay. For every new bug solved using go horse, 7 more are created. Or more. So this could solve the whole problem of unemployment in the world. Because everyone would eventually become an IT engineer, because the bugs would never stop. Okay? So the utility trends to infinite. Okay? And extreme go horse is completely reactive. Okay? The bugs only exist when someone notices. Okay? If you have a security flaw that no one exploited, keep it there. It's not a bug yet. Okay? We can call bugs secret features, surprise features. Okay? You don't have any schedule. Okay? If something goes wrong, you need to have already someone in your mind to blame. Okay? In extreme go horse, you never pick the blame. The fault is yours. You can put in anyone else. Okay? You should be 100% authentic. You should not follow patterns. Okay? And there is no refactoring, just rework. Okay? You do anything. Okay? It is absolute. You never stop doing that. Okay? It is a workaround-oriented programming. Okay? It requires no thinking. You just do it, and that's it. Okay? It's your bro. Okay? That's the idea. So you got the idea of extreme go horse, okay?
I don't think it's FSC.
It seems written by me.
Okay. You can do this workflow instead of going go horse, okay? Depends. You can. If you go extreme go horse, it is a way without return. Okay, you never leave it. Okay, it's going to be your friend until you turn your back to it, and then it's going to kill you overnight. So, in this way, it is more peaceful. You can have peace of mind. Don't need to blame anyone. Okay, you don't get fired. Your company don't get burned. Okay, so instead of doing extreme go horse, you can do this workflow. Okay, and do you usually apply some version control workflow, like in School 42? You open pull requests, or how usually, like raise your hand, 2-3 people, how usually do you?
I do various branches for various tasks, and finish one task and merge a branch into the main or the dev.
Okay, great. I'm going to speak exactly about this. Someone else?
Yeah, same.
The same? You guys...
One space, push everything in space and then explode everything.
You go on. Okay. Who uses pull requests, like to merge things? You?
Yeah.
Okay, good. So when you finish the feature, you close the pull request and go for develop or for master or something like this?
Yes. Exactly.
Good. Anyone else? So if you have a good version control workflow already in place with your team, with your colleagues, you can keep. Okay? I'm going to show a workflow called Git flow. That is exactly the way you guys are using. Okay. Because, questions? Okay, so, hey people, the idea here, okay, let's just recapitulate one thing. Up to this point, you don't have any code, okay? You spent 1 hour, 2 hours perhaps, you just chatted, you just drawn some things on paper, you don't have any line of code, okay? Don't freak out, that is normal. It's even healthy, okay? Unless you're doing go horse. in Go horse, you would have 10,000 lines of code already. But here, up to this bullet point, you don't have code yet. Hey people, some attention here. It's going to be important for coordinating work. And actually, we are going to do an exercise on that. So man, hey, it's a little different from doing pull requests. I'm going to show the difference here. Okay. So up to this point, you did not write any line of code yet. As soon as you start doing code, you have 2, 3, perhaps 4 people doing code with different machines, with different environments. Okay? It is only normal that when you want to commit something, you have conflicts. Very normal to happen. Okay? A configuration file, or a folder structure, or the naming of things. And the problem is that as the conflicts start to get more and more complex, usually for 1 hour of work, you have 1-2 minutes to solve a conflict. But the more and more they become more complex, there is a turning point that for each hour of work, you spend more than 1 hour resolving conflicts. Because first of all, you have the respect for the other person, you don't want to throw the code away. And the second, you don't understand, you did not write that code, so you need to understand what the other person did, or you can even consume hours of the other person for that. Okay, let's say we are coding together. You code for 1 hour, I code for 1 hour. Now we're going to merge. I'm going to stop you for half an hour so I understand what you did for us to merge. Half an hour of his, half an hour of my. How many work hours were spent? 1 hour. 1 hour of work stopped to do that merge because I had to sync up with him back and forth. Okay? And that is the chance of you being mad at me or vice versa. You think that I'm dumb or whatever. That happens. So a good workflow prevents that from happening. First of all, keep one of the branches, the main branch or the master branch, separated and protected. Protect it with your life. Require a payment for someone to push code there. Okay, you see? It can be outdated. It could be a situation like, hey, we coded all the night. We just have to merge this, but you present using the master branch from yesterday. Because the master branch or the main branch is stable. It's working. You are not going to have bugs. Okay? And everything you want to develop, you develop into the development branch. Develop. So you can always pick code from there to start doing what you want, and you can offset things there. You don't need to be so careful because you're not going to break stable releases, but it's always healthy to keep the development branch stable as well. If the development branch is not good, you would need to pick from the main branch, could be very outdated. So it's not as grave as breaking main, but you should try as most as possible to keep the development branch stable. To keep it stable as well, this purple branch here is stable, you could use some techniques. You could open branches for each feature. So one person is working that branch, another person is working that branch. The developed branch is still stable for people to pick on it, okay, or to reverse from it. And eventually you get releases here, okay? A quick hint, whenever you have more 2, 3, 4 people working from a single state here, it could have a problem as well of merging when you all want to return at the same time or in close time to the development, okay? Like, this person is started from here. This other person is started from there. There are some changes here in those little 2 circles, you see? The best way to solve that is, before you offset your changes to the develop branch, pick from develop and merge inside your branch first. Okay. I made a new page. I made a new onboard flow, sign up page. I pick the development, I merge to my branch first. There might be some breaking changes in the code I made, so I know what is wrong there. Eventually, I have made some tests. Tests are for fuzzy. No, the tests are great because if I merge back to my branch and break the tests, I have written those tests, so I know what broke, right? Then I solve everything, half an hour, 20 minutes, 15 minutes. And then I go for merging again. In those minutes, it's possible that someone committed and need to check that, but it's less probable. So when you offset back to development, everything works. Usually, when people do this kind of schema, you develop, and you just merge. And then the other person that is going to pick might have breaking changes, and they don't understand why. I did not make that page. I did not make that signing flow, but the change I made to that configuration file is breaking that page. So now I need to fix something, a problem in the code that someone else did. Then I need to look for documentation, then I need to call that person. It reduces the productivity, okay? So when you do this, you merge in first, solve all the problems, and then you merge there, you have a more efficient flow, okay? Make sense? This is how you do? Hey man, forgot your name, sorry.
What?
Your name? Francesco.
Yeah, I wasn't listening, sorry.
This is how you do?
Quite basically, but I do less branches because I usually work on a few features at a time. Like when I do work on front end, I only open one branch for front end.
It's like only you doing front end, right? It's not many people.
No, I worked with many people, but when I did front end, and when I work on front end, my assigned task was a lot, but I update the comment for each task I completed.
Okay.
So I don't have to open multiple branches from the front end.
Okay.
Work on that.
Good. Did you get the idea, people? How to open those branches, how to do this? Okay. Every hackathon I go, I mentor in a lot of hackathons. Every hackathon I go, there is a person crying some corner, very upset because they broke the main branch just before presenting, and then they could not show a code that was working a while ago. Okay? Clauses. Go horse way. And that's sad, people. Let's prevent that from happening. Okay? Let's keep versions stable. I know you can roll back versions, but then you have a deployment and all of that. It can compromise your team. This way you can have it more stable. And if you want to go even beyond that, you can have releases branches, like staging branches, that you can. Usually here in the development branch, you have development configurations. Like you have your debugger enabled, you have some loggings enabled and all of that. When you go for a release branch, you have all of that disabled. You have a production-like deployment, but didn't go for production yet. So you can test if everything is working as expected. You can go there, you can check for performance and all of that. And then you give green light. Okay, that release is good to go, and then you ship. Okay. Not going to say that it never happens. You could have hot fixes. You ship something for production. For example, last time we updated our website, last year, we shipped a whole page of lorem ipsum, a page that wasn't supposed to go live, and we had a client calling, what's this lorem ipsum feature? So we released a hot fix to remove that page, 404. We didn't go through the whole process of opening a branch, remove that page, merge to develop, then do a feature, and then a release, and then main. Because it was something we need done quickly. Just remove that page. It should point to 404 when someone enters that page that is not ready. These hot fixes, they do happen, okay? It's very important that when you happen to do this on the main branch, you also copy this for the development branch, okay? It's not a good idea to copy the main to development because you could copy configurations that are just for the main branch, production. So you copy the hotfix here, you clone the hotfix there for it to be applied into the development branch the same way it's applied to production, okay?
So what the fix? I don't understand what hot fix.
You need to fix that very quickly, okay?
But it's a branch.
It is a branch. You pick from main, you pick a single branch, usually one commit, unless you mess it big time, and go host style. And then you fix the things here. It's fixed, yes. So you commit back to main very quickly, usually half an hour, something like this.
Okay.
Something quick, and we need never a new feature, okay? If your manager asks for a new feature in a hotfix, it is a good reason to escalate that for upper management or to ask your job or something like this, okay? Hot fixes are for fixing. Something bad is happening. A security problem, a bug, performance is impaired, and then you fix that. You never release features like this, okay? Write that 10 times. Okay, and that gives usually this is good for a hackathon project. Okay, this is good. If you want to coordinate even better, this is even better. Okay, more than that, usually is for like big projects, ongoing projects. Okay, because each of those processes they do require some time. I need to set up a branch. I need to do this and this and that. So it could not pay off so well. But this pays off. Okay? This is a great investment of time.
Okay, do we have the link to this page inside the document?
Let me do that now. Yeah, this is a link from Atlassian. Like they are not sponsoring this bootcamp.
It's a good one.
Yeah, but it's like the first one from Google. Okay. Let me copy this image as well. So you can remember that. Okay. This also comes about time management. Assign time windows to things. Okay? This task is going to take half an hour. No. In 2 hours, we should prioritize this. In 3 hours, we should prioritize that. Try to come up with a release. Okay? It is good because it gives senses of urgency. Okay? I forgot the name now, trying to remember. There is a study that says that the time to complete a task delays or contracts depending of how much time you have for that task. Because of like procrastination and all. Like if you have 5 minutes to draw something, you are going to draw in 5 minutes, but it's going to be of bad quality. If you have 2 hours to draw something, you are going to make it better lines, more colors and all of that. So the time to complete a task can give you a good sense of the amount of effort you're going to put to it and the amount of quality that you're going to put for that, okay? For a hackathon project, having something ready, it is better than having something polished. If you have one feature very polished, usually not all, but usually the judges and even clients in the real world, they would prefer having 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 features that are not so polished. Okay? Did you ever use ChatGPT? Is it 100% polished?
No,
It's very bad. But they're releasing. Yesterday they released it sorta, and then they are just releasing. This perfectionism of trying to polish everything. I like this. Everything I do, I'm trying to put all the quality possible. It is more like a personal taste. Okay. Let's say when you are cooking and you try to make the best sandwich possible. Okay, because you are dedicated to that, so it gives you personal satisfaction. I have that feeling. But for building projects, that's not so healthy. It's better to ship 3, 4, 5 things in a hackathon, not very polished things, than shipping one really polished one. It is not, statistically, it is not so impactful, okay? In some situations, it's great. For example, healthcare. You don't want to take a drug or a medical treatment that is not polished. It could kill you, okay? So obviously, it doesn't apply for all occasions. A very sad example is the people that died in that submarine. They were like diving and it was not a polished product, but unfortunately it was sad, but it happened. So in some situations you should polish it the most. Hackathon projects, no. Okay? It doesn't mean that you should ship half-made features. Okay? A feature is a feature done. It should have a definition of done, D-O-D. Should be done. Users should be able to sign in. So, signing is putting email and password. If you can sign into another person's account, it's not done. Okay? Being polished means that it evaluates if the email exists, it evaluates if the length of the password is good. You see, these would be polishment. But definition of done is, it's done. The feature should be done. But you don't need to polish it further. Okay? Like all things of life, it's more like a balance than a min-maxing. It's not that easy, but I guess you got the idea. Zero, at some point it's done. After that, you are polishing. Okay? Can you say that the ChatGPT is not done? It's done, you can use it. It is polished? No. Okay, so that's the idea when you are doing this time management here for the deliveries you want to do. Okay? The last one is about the presentation. You know that you need to record a video, right? You know that internet fails when you're uploading that video. It's very common. A lot of people trying to upload at the same time. The best thing for you to do is have a recording hours before the deadline. This is not like a vanity. This is almost like a life advice. Everyone freaks out, become bowed, taking the hairs off at the time of a video upload in a hackathon. Okay? Did you, the guys from Urbe here, they participate in all hackathon. Did you ever have problems uploading a video for a hackathon?
No, because we start 2 hours before.
Great, you are wise.
Yeah, it should take something like 1 hour and a half to...
Did you ever see someone freaking out because the video was not uploading?
Yeah, a lot of people.
Every time. Okay. It happens. So, before 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours before, I know you don't have a finished product yet. You should not have, but record a video with what you have. For the next 2, 3, 4 hours, you are less stressed. You can finish up the last touches and record again and upload again if needed. Okay? That's not a problem. The problem is if you don't have anything recorded, at the last time you want to record it, you record hasty, you don't explain yourself correctly, you don't have time to edit it, and you don't have time to upload it. This is very bad, see? So this is why I suggest, first of all, for presentation, record before the deadline, 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours before the deadline. This is still in time management, okay? And then, for your presentation, keep it short and at the point. Show more and tell less. I've been doing that for this whole bootcamp. Instead of telling things, telling you histories about how things go, I want to show it Open the blockchain explorer, try this, click, run, compile, test, hover your mouse, see what goes in the console. Okay? This is showing, so you don't need to trust me, you look. So instead of having a beautiful slide saying, all application is revolutionizing the industry of ice cream for elderly by doing this subscription model that you don't need to remember to order your ice cream because you already have memory problems. Instead of telling all of that, you can open your app. Our application does this. You click here, you enter your favorite flavor, you fill here how many of those you want per week, and you pay by credit card, and then you point at the things, you show things. So you explain them after you point. And this is reducing the amount of upset elderly by 30%. And then you show facts and all of that. Because if you go telling and telling and telling, anyone could tell. They could lie. There's a weird music. Yeah. Everyone could tell anything. They could lie. Actually, people oversell things a lot when they are presenting. When you show, it's straight to the point. You show things. So you don't need that big slide of visions, of features and whatever. You can have 1-2 slides to present yourself, present the team, short bio for everyone, short description of the project, and then you go for recording. The best presentations I saw in life were like this. Notebook, here, run, is doing this and that and that. No slides at all. Okay? Working code eats slides at the breakfast. Not saying that you should not do, but the most important is showing something working. These slides can come after to explain something, explain the mechanism, the architecture, whatever, but you should show, the most important thing is showing your product, okay? Showing what you build, your project. And if it's not fun, if you're not enjoying it, if it is boring, if it is tiresome, if it is stressful, something is wrong, okay? You should enjoy every minute of that. Life is too short for us to do unenjoyable things, okay? We are going to work a lot, we are going to put our effort, but it's for a good cause, okay? So if something is compromising your fun, something is compromising your experience, try to solve that thing, try to talk, bring that up, okay? Because learning should be fun. If learning is tiresome, if learning is making you feel bad to wake up and say, hey, I need to go to that class with that Brazilian with full of bad jokes. Something is wrong, you see. If it's boring, you're not doing it right. Have fun all the way, okay? Have fun this weekend, and then you are going to enjoy it the most. You're going to learn the most, okay? This recipe we started to do last year in this hackathon in Lisbon. A client of us hired a bootcamp there. We didn't even have this model yet. We fly all the way to Lisbon. There were 14 people there from students of a local university, Isqueté University. And they did never code in blockchain at all, on smart contract at all. And they would compete in the ETH Global Hackathon on that weekend. And I did my best in 1 week to teach them all. Followed quite the same guidelines. This is no plan that I got out of my head. This is basically the things that I do inside my company as well for building projects. So I basically replicated that in a bootcamp for those students. And 2 groups, in a hackathon with like 400 people competing, 2 groups, 8 people in total, they won bounties from Chainlink that was sponsoring. 2 of them got hired for working in Web3 after the hackathon. Okay? They were like the first cohort, and I was just amazed. Of course, it was their merit. It's your merit of doing all of this always. I just facilitated that to happen. Then later I went to do that in France. I did that here in Rome. I did that in New York. In New York, one group of my students were the finalists, the big prize, with 1,000 people competing, like $13,000 in prize in total. So this is what I'm trying to give for you as well. This recipe, this works. This is not a guarantee of success, never. I cannot guarantee your success, but this is a huge increase of chances of building a good project, a huge increase of probability of you being successful, even against seniors, developers, long hackathon project builders, because usually they don't have a good information, they don't have good ideation, they don't organize the workflow, they don't prioritize features, they don't lay out the tasks, they don't use good version control, they don't do the presentation to the point, okay? So doing all of this right gives you a huge edge to actually build something, okay? For a hackathon or even for projects that you build for life, okay? Putting that in practice. Good? So, more than 1 hour talk. I was expecting this to be 40 minutes. Sorry if I got carried away. I blame that on Go Horse. And now we're going to do an exercise, 30 minutes exercise of that. You are going to pick groups. You are going to follow this same guideline. Could be for your project tomorrow, okay, or could be just an exercise. You could ditch it all and do it from scratch tomorrow. With you, between you, okay, you are going to pick an idea, find a team together of 3 to 4 people. You are going to write it down in GitHub. You're going to build a README with this project description, key objectives, and all of that. Okay, if you have time, don't know if you're going to have, do this. Set up a repository and install the dependencies for you to test the Git flow. Okay, commit that. And if we have time, like present the idea here for us to discuss that. Okay, in 30 minutes or 40 minutes now. Okay. Today we're going to have the Urbe talks at 5. So in the meantime, Urbe talks with people from Urbe. So in the meantime, we're going to be doing this exercise. Okay. Now, good. Let's begin. You want to join tables, make groups. If you don't have a group, we can go chatting. You can come here to the stage and we chat about the ideas.